Shalom, welcome back. Today we will be continuing working through our directed immersion of Hebrew eichah. That's the book of Lamentations in Hebrew. I won't be reviewing what we did from the previous times, just because one of the hopes that I have in making this recording of the entire book of Lamentations is that it will be useful for people who are fasting, or they have some other appeal, a techinah they're making to the Lord, and they want to go through the whole book. So I don't want it to have to be that when they finish one book and they're just going to the playlist, getting to the next lesson, that it's going to suddenly go back to what they just learned. Okay? So there is a method to the madness. And in similar vein, I think I won't be doing an opening prayer with the beginning of each one because the nature of the Lamentations. We could just say, Lolano, Lolano, Velacha, Yihe, Kol, Ha-kavod. Not to us, but to you be all the glory, Lord. All right, so let's get to it. Here we are. Continuing with eichah, chapter 3, verse 16. So directed Hebrew immersion, Lamentations chapter 3, verse 16. All right. And it says, Vayagres, Vayagres, Shinai, Hiphil-he, Baefer. Okay. So this first word is garas, which is to crush, to grind. And we have a Hiphil form here. So Vayagres, and he caused to crush, he caused to grind. And the object over here, Shinai, my teeth, Bechatzatz, in the pebbles, in the gravel, right? Chatzatz means gravel or pebbles. Hichpishani, or hichpishani. We don't see this word very much. Kapas, kaf pe, seen if you're just listening as you drive or something. It means to cower, right? Like to kind of crouch low. And I think this is only in the Hebrew Bible a handful of times, 3 or 5 times, something like that, not much. So here it's a Hiphil form. Can you hear the hichpishani? He caused to cower me. He caused me to cower. Ba, in the eifer, in the dust or in the ash. That's with an aleph, eifer. Sometimes you'll see afar, va'efer, dust and dust, or dust and ash. Those two words being very similar. The afar with an ayin and eifer with an aleph. Verse 17. Vatiznach mishalom nafshi, nashiti tova. So the first word is zanach. Number 2, the second one, which is like to reject, or, yeah, reject is good. And tiznach, this is a feminine third person. So vatiznach, and she rejected, or she pushed away, mishalom, from shalom, from peace. That's min shalom, became mishalom, from peace. Now, who's the feminine here? Who's the she doing this? Nafshi. It's the nefesh of my nefesh, my soul. And my soul rejected shalom, or was rejected from shalom. The idea like despair here. Yeah. It's in the Latin repulsa est, or the Greek aposata, was away from. Nashiti, from the verb nasha, nun shin he. I forgot, or I was caused to forget. I forgot tova, goodness, the despair. Verse 18. Va'omar avad ntzchi the Tohalti, me Adonai. Then we have a satum. Va'omar, so I said. And when you're saying, when an author in the Bible is just saying, I said such and such, and there's no audience, this is equivalent to what we say in English, where we say, like, I thought to myself, or I considered, I thought. So you could dynamically translate that. So I thought, but I will be literal. Omar. So I said, avad ntzchi v'tochalti. Avad, aleph, beit dalet, not avad. Don't confuse it with avad, ayin beit dalet, which is to serve or to labor. This is with an aleph, avad. Like, here's a mnemonic for this word. Most of you have heard of Abaddon, right? Abaddon, a place of destruction, a place of perishing, where a big battle will be at. It's from this root. It's avadon, right? Avad is to perish, to perish. So perished, nitzchi. That means my duration, my lastingness. And tochalti. That's the tochelet of e. Tochelet is like hope. It can also be like waiting. Now, together, these are probably hendiadys. Nitzchi v'tochalti, my lasting hope. Me Adonai, from Adonai. So, va'omar avad nitzchi v'tochalti me Adonai. Then I thought, my lasting hope from Adonai has perished. Satum. Verse 19. Zechor-עניי umerudi la'ana v'rosh. Notice we have an O and an O. These are both closed, unaccented syllables. So the kametz is a short kametz, a kametz katan. So instead of zechar, it's zechor. Because the accent's not here, there's a makef showing us the words read together. Zechor-עניי. Zechor-עניי. This is an imperative. Remember my affliction, my suffering. Umerudi. Merudi is my homelessness. Some might treat this as a hendiadys, something like my miserable wandering, right? Onye umerudi, which would make sense. I should have marked that as hendiadys as a possibility because we have it up above. Nitzchi v'tochalti. So it makes sense to have that poetic tool being used here as well. Onye umerudi. Again, hendiadys is when you have an and, usually and, connecting two concepts, and it gives you kind of a third meaning there. Like in English, warm and cozy. You're not talking about the temperature of the place. You're saying, I'm warm and cozy. I basically have a feeling of contentment in me. Onye umerudi. La'ana. La'ana. This is one word. It's not an inseparable preposition, lamed. It's one word. La'ana, which is wormwood, varosh, and poison. Remember, some of you are confused, understandably. Rosh Aleph Shin number 1, which is much more common, is head, right? A head, a chief. The Rosh Hahar is the peak, a mountain peak, the head of a mountain. But there's another word, Rosh, which means poison. Okay? And that's what goes together here. La'ana v'rosh. Maybe even this could be hendiadys. It's like poisonous wormwood. But we'll keep it literal. Wormwood and poison. Or it could even just be a general negative idea like hunger. Got nothing to eat. We talked before about consuming merorot, bitter things. Here now it's la'ana v'rosh. Verse 20. Any questions for those of you in the premiere? All right. Zachor tizkor. And the way it's written is vatashoach. Actually, it's written like it's vatashiach. A little bit strange to have the hole in there. But there's a ketiv kare here. The kare is tashoach. Tashoach. And the ketiv is tashiach. Ketiv meaning how it's written, kare meaning how it's read. Now, if we go with the ketiv form, tashiach, then it means something like bowed down, right? If we go with the kare, tashoach, it means something like despondent, right? Like depressed. Alai nafshi. Zachor-tizkor. So this is indeed she remembers. It could also mean continuously remembers, although usually we'd say tizkor zachor, but it could mean either continuously remembers, she continuously remembers, or indeed she remembers. This is an infinitive absolute here, the zachor. Zachor-tizkor. Indeed, she definitely remembers, or continuously, kind of feels right. She continuously remembers. Who's the she? The subject is way over here at the end. Nafshi, the nefesh of my nefesh, my soul, continuously remembers. And if we go with the kere here, the Q, you'll see that up there, multiple manuscripts. Ut Q tashoach vatoshoach, and is despondent alai concerning me. Or you could translate, if you go with the ketiv, va tashiach, and she like doubles down, like bows down under me or within me. Either way, the idea is about the same, a depressed state. Interesting. In the Tikkun Sofarim, nafshi is corrected to nafshecha, your soul, your life. All right, any comments or questions? Zachor-tizkor vatashiach or vatashoach alai nafshi. Lamentations 3:21, the last of the Zot triplets. Zot ashiv el libi, al kain ochir satum. Zot, this, ashiv. This is from the verb, the Hiphil from shuv. So the aleph reminds us of ani, I will cause to come back. I will bring back el unto libi, my mind. Al kain, therefore, ochir, I wait. From the verb yachal, yod chet lamed. Some of you probably remember one of the psalms says, mechalelei Adonai, those who wait upon the Lord, literally the waiters of him. And this word yachal, to wait, this is the Hiphil form of it, like I am causing to wait. It has, or an elative form, like I indeed wait. It has a, usually verbs that have to do with waiting in biblical Hebrew often can have to do with hoping. Like there's a unseen connection between waiting and hoping. There's satum. Interesting. Some manuscripts say asim, I shall place, instead of ashiv, I will bring back or will return. Verse 22. Chazdei Adonai, ki lo tamenu, ki lo chalu rachamaiv. Chazdei Adonai. This is from the word chesed, which can mean love, mercy, well, like grace, familial or clan loyalty. But it's in the plural, so it's, I would interpret this as the kind acts of Adonai, the acts of kindness of Adonai. Ki lo tamenu. This is from the verb tamam. It's a geminate, and that second mem is gone, as they often are. So tamenu, for they have not completed us. Right? He has not completed us. He's not finished with us. Perhaps an accusative of means there with that nu at the end. Ki lo chalu rachamaiv. Why is he not finished with us? The next verse tells us, ki lo, because not, chalu, from chala, kaf lamed he, meaning to finish, for they have not been completed. They are not done with. They are not finished. What's not done? Rachamaiv. This is rachamim, which is mercies. The mercies of him, his mercies. So, chazdei Adonai ki lo tamenu, ki lo chalu rachamaiv. The tender mercies, the the acts of loving kindness of Adonai. Indeed, I'm going to say the kilo. I'm going to translate this as indeed have not finished. They've not abandoned us. They're not done with us. Kilo, because indeed not. Chalu achamayv. His mercies are not over. Verse 23. Chadashim labikarim rabba emunatecha. Chadashim. Chadashim is new in the plural form. So this is an adjective referring back to the rachamim. Rachamim. Mercies, right? Like acts of mercy would be one way you could translate that. Kilo chalu rachamayv, for his acts of mercy. We had his acts of kindness, chazdei Adonai, and now we have rachamayv, his acts of mercy. Why? Verse 23. Because, and this key, it almost feels like double duty force happening, applying down to verse 23, as oftentimes happens in poetry. Chadashim. They are new. It's a plural because rachamim is plural. Labkarim. Labkarim. For that's the lamed, the mornings. So they are new every morning. Or you could really translate that. They are new for the mornings. It's a plural. Rabbah, abundant. Numerous are emunatecha, the emunah of cha. Abundant is your faithfulness. Emunah, when it's talking about a human, it's like his faith, his emunah. But when you're talking about Hashem, it's faithfulness. He's true to his word. And then the last of the chaitz, we had chait, verse 24. Chelki, pardon me, chelke, the mapach was kind of covering that up a little bit there. Oh no, it is chelki. I was assuming it was following the pattern of chazdei up above. Chelki Adonai, amara nafshi, al kain ochil lo, satum. Chelki, that means the chelik of E, chelki, my chelik, my portion is Yod-He, Waw-He. So Adonai is my portion. Amera, she said, or she says. Who's saying? Nafshi, nafshi, the nefesh of E, my soul. My soul says, Adonai is my portion. Al-Kain, these together usually mean therefore. Al-Kain, Al-Kain, therefore. Ochil lo, lo. I will wait, or I am waiting for him. Satum. Chelki Adonai amara nafshi. Al kain ochil lo. Satum. Verse 25, starting with the text. Maybe I'll move those up. Let me move that up. Tov Adonai lekovav lenefesh tidreshenu. Tov Adonai. Maybe you think like Yoda. Good is the Lord. Good is Adonai. So Adonai is good. Le to kovav. Kovav. This is from the verb kof or kuf, some call it. Vav he. Another word for to wait. Also meaning to hope. So to, this is an active participle, hoper of av, lekovav, or lekovav. In ancient times, it would have been lekowau, lekowau. Tov Adonai lekowau. Good is Adonai to his hopers, or his waiters. So we just had ochil up here from the verb yachal, which is to wait, also sometimes with a side meaning of hope. And now we have kava over here, a synonym for to hope or to wait. Adonai is good to those who hope in him or who wait on him. Le nefesh tidreshenu. Le to nefesh, to a soul or a life. Tidreshenu. Darash is the verb, like to search for, right? To search for, to seek. In modern Hebrew can be to demand, but that's different. So to the soul, or to a soul, she seeks nu. And don't confuse this with nu like nu, us. Here, it actually is him. The noon is just helping to attach it there. Seeks him. You see this kind of thing happening if you're thinking it's weird. We see this with mimenu, right? Or kamohu, like him. Mimenu, like us or like him. Unfortunately, they look the same. Any comments or questions? Verse 27. Oh, pardon me, 26. Lamentations 3:26. Tov, v'yachil, v'dumam, litshuat Adonai. Tov, good. It is good. V'yachil. Now we do have, what's this note here saying? Okay. Hupomone is like persevering. It says Septuagint translates hupomene. Yep. Like waiting over. So like having patience, persisting. So this is the noun yachil in Hebrew, probably. Yachil. Which this is the only time it occurs, but you can tell from the root it's related to ochil, right? So like waiting. So it's good to wait. Good. This is probably a vav emphaticum. Good and waiting, or it is good. Yachil v'dumam. This is from the word dumam, which is silently, like an adverb. It is good, silently waiting. Litshuat. This is from the word teshuah, which is related to Yeshua. So waiting for the victory or the salvation or the help of Adonai. Construct chain. And then finally, our third tet is verse 27. Tov lagever ki yisa ol bin u'aiv. Bin ayin shurik resh. So bin u'aiv satum. Tov, good. Lagever, for the man. Ki yisa ol, when an ol, a yoke, yisa. This is from the verb nasa. Would have been yin sa in ancient Hebrew. So a yoke has been lifted, or he lifts. Okay, I think it's the gever who's doing it. Tov la gever. So it's good for the man that yisa, he lifts a ol, a yoke, or he bears a yoke. Be, during or in ne'ariv. So ne'arim, this means like youth. It's the concept of youth. Oftentimes the plural gives you an abstract idea, and we drop the mem. Ne'arai, youths of, the youth of, I've, of him. So bin alive in his youth. So it's saying it's good for a man to carry a yoke. The ideas of discipline or chastisement, musar, during his youth. Okay, let's look at the yods now. Verse 20. Oh, I'm sorry, we did 27. Verse 28. Continuing in Hebrew Lamentations 3:28. Yeshev badad veyidom ki natal alive, or alive. Yeshev. Yeshev. This is from the verb yashav, to sit or to dwell. So he will dwell, or he will live, perhaps with justice force. Let him live. Badad, alone. Veyidom, from the verb damam, meaning to be silent or to sit still. So I think it's probably let him live alone and let him be silent. Ki natal, alive. Ki, for a natal. Natal. Natal, alive. Natal is to impose something, like to burden oneself with. Ki natal, for he has burdened it, he's imposed it, al, upon, I've, upon himself. Verse 29, Yitain be'afar pihu, ulai yesh tikva. Yitain. I think maybe this key is doing double duty force. Because look, we had it up here with key, and now we don't have key. But it kind of feels like there should be a key. Right? So I think if yitain from Natan, yintain became yitain, if he will yitain, if he will place, if he will assign be into the afar. Afar. We had afer before with an aleph. Now we have the synonym afar, in the dust. What will we put in there? Pihu. That's the pay of who? Pihu. Pihu, his mouth. So if he will put, or we could just say he places in the dust his mouth, or it could be with just a force. Let him set his mouth be'afar, in the dust. Ulai, perhaps. Yesh, tikva. Yesh means exists, like there is. You see this word a lot in modern Hebrew dialect. Like, just to say you have something, you say, like, it exists to me, yeshli, I have. But not so much this way in biblical Hebrew. Ulai, perhaps, yesh, there exists, perhaps there is, tikva. What is tikva? In ancient Hebrew, tikwa. I think you guys know this. Anyone who knows much about modern Israel, what do we call our national anthem? Ha-tiqvah, the hope. Again, this is from that word, the verb kavah, to wait or to hope. Okay, and the last in the Yod triplets is verse 30. Yitain lemakehu lechi yisbah becherpa satum. Yitain, from again Natan, let him give lemakehu, to makehu, from makah, right, the striker. Let him give to his striker, lechi, a cheek. Let him give to his striker a cheek. Let him turn his cheek to the one who strikes him. Yitain lemakehu lechi. This teaching should be familiar for those of you who read the Jewish Greek or read the translations of the Jewish apostolic writings, the so-called New Testament. Let him turn his cheek, or turn his other cheek. Yisbah becherpa. He will be satisfied, or let him be satiated, let him be full of cherpa, reproach. The idea here is like insults and such. So that's the origin of the turn the other cheek teaching here, which Yeshua was referencing. Okay, so let's read through one more time and then we'll be done. More brisk pace. Try to feel it. If you're fasting and reading and listening, then hopefully you can get that connection in your spirit. Lamentations 3, verse 16. Vayagres-bechatz shinai, hichpishani baefer, vatiznach mishalom nafshi, nashiti tova. ואמר עבד נצחי ותוחלתי מאדוני סתום. Verse 19. זכר-עניי ומרודי לענה וראש. 20. זכור תזכור ותשיח, or ותשוח עלי נפשי, or nafshecha. 21. Zot ashiv el libi, al kain ochil satum. That's the end of the Zions. Verse 22. Chazdei Adonai, ki lo tamenu, ki lo chalu rachamayv. 23. Chadashim labekarim, rabba emunatecha. Verse 24. Chelki Adonai amara nafshi, al kein ochil lo satum. Verse 25, the tet triplets. Tov Adonai lekovav, lenefesh tidreshenu. 26, Tov yachil vedumam, litjuat Adonai. Whoa, 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 whoa. Something's happening. Sorry about that. Verse 27, the end of the tet triplets. Tov lagever ki yisa ol bin oraiv satum. 28, the yod triplets. Yeshev badad veyidom ki natal alaiv. 28, yitain be'afar pihu. Ulai yesh tikvah. Tikvah. Verse 30, and this is the end of what we did today, the final of the yod triplets. Yitain lemakehu lechi. Yisbra bechirpa. So yitain lemakehu lechi. Let him turn the other cheek to his striker, or turn to his striker, the one who hit him, a cheek. Yisbra bechirpa. Satur. All right, I hope you enjoyed this today. Please, if you're learning from this ministry, if it's helping you, consider sending some support. We would really appreciate it. There's details down below and in the comments, the description section of the video. May Hashem continue to bless you with your learning, and we are privileged and grateful to be part of that. Have a wonderful day moving ahead. And if you are fasting, if you're doing this part of your fast, may Hashem hear your prayer. Shalom, shalom.